A very warm good afternoon to all. This is Maria Pushpam and I am going to deal for you analytical chemistry. So initially we can start with the syllabus. The syllabus contains fuel analysis, and what are the topics present in fuel analysis are solid fuel. A good example is coal, its classification, two types of analysis, proximate analysis and ultimate analysis, followed by heating values, grading of coal, comparison of coal and coke, followed by liquid fuels, its flash point, unlined point, octane number, carbon residue, gaseous fuels, example producer gas and water gas, and its calorific value. I'll start with what is meant by fuel. So fuel is nothing but it's a combustible substance containing carbon as a main constituent, which on burning gives large amount of heat. You can understand, I'll repeat. So what I mean by fuel is a combustible substance. So what I mean by combustible substance என்ன மீன் பண்ணுறோன்னா எரியக்கூடிய பொருள். ஸோ அந்த பொருள் வந்து எரியும் போது it produces large amount of heat. ஸோ ஃபியூலோட பர்பஸே வந்து நமக்கு நிறைய ஹீட்டை வந்து ப்ரொடியூஸ் பண்ணணும். ஸோ இஃப் யூ டேக் அ குட் fuel mainly fuel deals with it might contain carbon, hydrogen, a lot of other things. So first if carbon is present in the fuel, it combines with oxygen, gives carbon dioxide plus 94 kilocalories of heat energy. And if you take hydrogen if present in the fuel, it combines with oxygen, gives you water plus 68 kilocalories of heat energy. Then I'll go with the classification of fuels. So coming to the classification of fuels are classified based on two things. One is based on the origin and second one is based on the physical state. So coming to the origin, based on the origin, it is of two types. One is said to be primary fuel. It can also be called as natural fuel. Another one is said to be secondary fuel. It's otherwise called as derived fuel. So coming to primary fuel which is obtained from nature. நமக்கு இயற்கையாகவே கிடைக்கிற பொருளை தான் நம்ம என்ன சொல்கிறோன்னா primary fuelன்னு சொல்கிறோம். Is it okay? So second one is nothing but secondary fuel. So what I mean by secondary fuel is this is a fuel which is derived from primary fuel. Primary fuelலேருந்து நம்ம அந்த பொருளை உருவாக்கணும்னா we call it as secondary fuel. Is it okay? So next one we can see the classification of fuel based on the physical state. Normally if you take any substance in the physical state, it exists in three forms. All of you know, solid, liquid and gas. So similarly fuel also exists in three forms. One is solid fuel, liquid fuel and gaseous fuel. So what I mean by solid fuel is, a very good example of solid fuel is wood, coke, coal, etc. And coming to liquid fuel, you know what is liquid fuel? Petrol, diesel, as well as kerosene, LPG. These are said to be liquid fuels. Coming to gaseous fuels, natural gas, producer gas, water gas, etc. Is it okay? So next one we can see what are the characteristics of a good fuel. So to be a good fuel, நல்ல ஃபியூலாக இருக்கணும்னா அதுக்கு என்னென்ன கேரக்டரிஸ்டிக்ஸ் இருக்கணும்னா முதல்ல வந்து if you take the first one, it should be readily available and it should be cheap. நமக்கு ஈஸியாக கிடைக்கணும், அதே மாதிரி விலை குறைவாக இருக்கணும். Second one, high calorific value. I'll take this calorific value later. So you understand it should have a high calorific value. Third one, it should have a moderate ignition temperature. இக்னேஷன்னா வந்து எரியிற அந்த டெம்பரேச்சர் வந்து ரொம்ப ஹையாகவும் போயிடக்கூடாது, லோவாகவும் இருக்கக்கூடாது, இடையில இருக்கணும், இன் பிட்வீனில் இருக்கணும். ஸோ வி கால் இட் அஸ் இட் ஷுட் ஹாவ் அ moderate ignition temperature. Next one is nothing but a good fuel should have a low moisture content. Low moisture content ஈரப்பதம் வந்து ஃபியூலுக்கு ஈரம் இருந்துச்சுன்னா அது ஈஸியாக it won't burn. So it should have a low moisture content. Next very good one, important one is it should not pollute the environment. And next is it should burn without producing much smoke. நிறைய smoke வந்து ப்ரொடியூஸ் பண்ணக்கூடாது. Next one is low non-combustible matter. It should contain low non-combustible matter. அப்படின்னா என்னென்னா எரியாத பொருள் வந்து குறைவாக இருக்கணும். கூடுதலாக இருந்தால் அது வேஸ்ட், நல்ல ஃபியூலாக இருக்க முடியாது. நெக்ஸ்ட் ஒன் இஸ் இட் ஷுட் பி the storage and transportation should be easy and safe. நம்ம எங்கேயாவது பாதுகாத்து வச்சாலோ ஒரு இடத்துலேருந்து இன்னொரு இடத்துக்கு கொண்டு போனாலோ அது வந்து சேஃபாக இருக்கணும். அந்த பொருள் வந்து இட் ஷுட் நாட் எக்ஸ்ப்ளோட், வெடிச்சிடக்கூடாது. ஸோ அது சேஃப்டியாக இருந்தால் தான் அது நல்ல ஃபியூல். அண்ட் லாஸ்ட் ஒன் இஸ் கம்பஷன் ஷுட் பி ரெடிலி கண்ட்ரோலபிள். அது எரிஞ்சிட்டு இருக்கும்போது நம்ம அணைச்சோன்னா அது அணைஞ்சிடணும். அப்போ தான் அது என்ன ஃபியூல், நல்ல ஃபியூல். ஸோ திஸ் இஸ் சம்திங் அபவுட் த கேரக்டரிஸ்டிக்ஸ் ஆஃப் அ good fuel. So now I'll go the next one. Next one, as I said you, calorific value of a fuel. நம்ம ஃபியூவல் யூஸ் பண்ணுற பர்பஸே அது வந்து நமக்கு வந்து ஹீட் வந்து ப்ரொடியூஸ் பண்ணணும். ஃபார் எனி ஆஃப் அவர் ஒர்க், இஃப் யூ ஆர் இன் நீட் ஆஃப் ஹீட், வீட்டில் குக்கிங், தென் இஃப் யூ கோ ஃபார் இண்டஸ்ட்ரீஸ், ப்ரொடக்ஷன் பர்பஸ், எல்லாத்துக்குமே வி ஆர் இன் நீட் ஆஃப் ஹீட் எனர்ஜி. அண்ட் திஸ் ஹீட் எனர்ஜி வில் பி ப்ரொடியூஸ்ட் ஒன்லி பை ஃபியூவல். அண்ட் திஸ் ஹீட் எனர்ஜி இஸ் மெஷர்ட் இன் த term called as calorific value. So what I mean by calorific value means we have to define what is calorific value. So it is nothing but the quantity of heat liberated by complete combustion of unit mass of a fuel with air or oxygen. ஒரு எவ்வளவு குவான்டிட்டி ஆஃப் ஹீட் வந்து ஒரு ஃபியூலை எரிக்கும்போது, யூனிட் மாஸ் ஃபியூல் எடுத்து நம்ம எரிக்கும்போது எவ்வளவு ஹீட் வந்து அதுலேருந்து வெளியே வருதோ அதைத்தான் நம்ம என்ன சொல்கிறோன்னா கலோரிஃபிக் வேல்யூ. அந்த ஃபியூவலோட கலோரிஃபிக் வேல்யூன்னு சொல்லுவோம். சரியா? ஸோ ஐல் ரிப்பீட் த டெஃபினேஷன் ஒன்ஸ் அகெயின். ஸோ த குவான்டிட்டி ஆஃப் ஹீட் லிபரேட்டட் பை கம்ப்ளீட் கம்பஷன் ஆஃப் யூனிட் மாஸ் ஆஃப் அ ஃபியூவல் வித் ஏர் ஆர் ஆக்சிஜன். ஸோ அது காற்று கூடயோ ஆக்சிஜன் கூடயோ எரியும் போது எவ்வளவு ஹீட்டை, வெப்பத்தை அது வெளிப்படுத்துதோ, யூனிட் மாஸ் வந்து எவ்வளவு ஹீட்டை வெளிப்படுத்துதோ அதான் அந்த சப்ஸ்டன்ஸோட என்னது calorific value. இந்த calorific value we are classifying into two. One is called as gross calorific value, another one is called as net calorific value. So first I'll say what is it to be gross calorific value, then I'll say what is it to be net calorific value. Is it okay, ma? So first, what I mean by gross calorific value is it's the total quantity of heat liberated when unit mass of the fuel is burned completely and the product of combustions are cooled to room temperature. So I'll repeat the definition once again. It's the total quantity of heat liberated when unit mass of a fuel is burnt completely and the products of combustion are cooled at room temperature. So this we call it as gross calorific value. Next one, we can see what is said to be net calorific value. Net calorific value is nothing but the quantity of heat liberated when unit mass of a fuel is burnt completely and the products of combustion are allowed to escape. So gross calorific value, net calorific value என்ன definitionல என்ன difference இருக்கும்னா, if you take gross calorific value, the combustion products are cooled at room temperature. அப்படி கிடைக்கிற அந்த ஹீட் வேல்யூவோட பேர் என்ன சொல்கிறோன்னா கிராஸ் கலோரிஃபிக் வேல்யூ. அதே நெட் கலோரிஃபிக் வேல்யூக்கு அதே ஹீட்டிங் தான், எவ்வளவு ஹீட் அது லிபரேட் பண்ணுறதோ தான் மெஷர் பண்ணுறோம். பட் வாட் யூ ஹேவ் டு டூ ஹியர் இஸ் யூ ஹேவ் டு அலோவ் த கம்பஷன் ப்ராடக்ட்ஸ் டு எஸ்கேப். தட்ஸ் த டிஃப்ரென்ஸ் பிட்வீன் கிராஸ் அண்ட் நெட் கலோரிஃபிக் வேல்யூ. So there is a relation between this gross calorific value and net calorific value. So net calorific value will be equal to gross calorific value minus weight of hydrogen into 9 into latent heat of steam. So this is a formula relating gross calorific value and net calorific value. So next topic what we are going to see is a very good solid fuel and its classification. A very good solid fuel is nothing but coal. Coal எல்லாருக்குமே தெரியும், நிலக்கரி. ஓகே அப்பா, this is used for many purpose. மெயின்லி இதை எங்கெல்லாம் யூஸ் பண்ணுவோன்னா thermal power plants யூஸ் பண்ணுறோம், industries, factories. இது other than this we are using in trains. For running trains we are in need of coal. So மெயின்லி what I mean by கோல் வந்து நம்மளுக்கு ஈஸியாக வந்து ப்ரொடியூஸ் ஆகாது. ஓகேயா, இட் டேக்ஸ் மில்லியன்ஸ் ஆஃப் இயர்ஸ். நிலக்கரி வந்து உருவாகிறதுக்கு வந்து மரத்துலேருந்து தான், மரம் மக்கி போன பொருட்கள் அதுலேருந்து தான் என்ன உருவாகும், கோல் வில் பி ஃபார்ம்ட். அது ஈஸியாக வந்து ஃபார்ம் ஆகாது. how it is being formed is what and all things you have to do there is wood has to decay. As it decays, it takes years, millions of years it takes. it transforms from one form to another form, and finally it gives a form of coal which is being used. And now we can see what is it to be coal and the classification. Is it okay? So coming to coal, coal is nothing but an organic matter containing carbon, hydrogen, oxygen with small amount of nitrogen and sulfur. So can you understand me what I am saying? So organic matter containing carbon, hydrogen, oxygen with small amount of nitrogen and sulfur. So coming to the classification, coal is classified on the basis of two things. One is carbon content, another one is calorific value. One is carbon content, another one is calorific value. I have said you what is calorific value. Carbon content is nothing but percentage of carbon present in coal. Is it okay? So these are the two basic things need to classify what type of coal it is. Is it okay? So coming to coal, coal is being classified. That is transformation from one form to another form. Initially wood, then peat, then lignite, then bituminous, finally anthracite. All of you know we have in Neyveli we have lignite coal. The coal produced in Neyveli, found in Neyveli, is nothing but lignite. The form is said to be lignite. And we can see the types of coal, the moisture content as well as the carbon content as well as its calorific value. If you take peat, it has the moisture content is 80, carbon 57, calorific value is 4200 to 5000. Coming to lignite, lignite is between it is 60 moisture content, carbon content 58, and calorific value 6500 to 7000. So coming to bituminous, it is of two types, subbituminous and bituminous. Initially, after going from lignite, it won't convert into bituminous. It will go to the form of subbituminous, then it goes to bituminous. So subbituminous, it is 11 percentage of moisture content, 76 percentage of carbon content, and its calorific value is 7100 to 7500. The next stage is nothing but bituminous. It has a moisture content of 4, carbon content is 88.3, and calorific value is 8000 to 8500. And last stage is called as anthracite. It is having a moisture content of 1.5 percentage and carbon content 93.2 percentage, and its calorific value is 8500 to 8700. Next thing we can see the analysis of coal. So as I said you earlier, coal cannot be used as if, because we have to find what type of coal it is, where it has to be used. We have to analyze all these things. சும்மா கோலை எடுத்தோன்னு நம்ம யூஸ் பண்ண முடியாது. ஏன்னா அதோட பர்பஸை பொறுத்து அது எந்த இடத்துக்கு தேவை, எப்படிப்பட்ட குவாலிட்டி, என்ன குவாலிட்டி நம்மளுக்கு தேவைன்னு பார்த்து தான் நம்ம யூஸ் பண்ண முடியும். Is it okay? So in order to analyze the type of coal, we have to see there are two types. One is called as proximate analysis, another one is called as ultimate analysis. I'll repeat. So analysis of coal is very important because it is used we have to analyze where the quality of coal can only analyzed by these two methods. One is called as proximate analysis, another one is called as ultimate analysis. So first we can see what is said to be proximate analysis. It involves determination of percentage of moisture content, volatile matter, ash content and fixed carbon. I'll repeat. So we are going to calculate all the four in proximate analysis. Proximate analysis la என்னெல்லாம் பார்ப்போம்னா எவ்வளோ moisture content இருக்கு, எவ்வளோ volatile matter இருக்கு, எவ்வளோ ash content, எவ்வளோ fixed carbon. இந்த 4 parameter analyze பண்ணுற அந்த மெத்தடோட பேர் தான் என்னன்னா proximate analysis. I'll repeat. So what do I mean by proximate analysis? Proximate analysis is analysis where we can analyze moisture content, volatile matter, ash content and fixed carbon content. Is it okay? So we can see one by one. First we can see moisture content. So how to find the percentage of moisture in coal? What you have to do here is you have to take 1 gram of powdered coal. You have to take dried form. Okay, first what you have to do, you have to take 1 gram of powdered and dried coal. It should be very neat, and you have to weigh it only 1 gram accurately. You have to weigh and you have to take the coal. Is it okay? After taking 1 gram of coal, you have to heat the coal in a hot air oven at a temperature of about 100 to 105 degree centigrade, and you have to heat it for 1 hour. Is it clear? Then you have to cool it. After heating, you have to cool the thing. After cooling, you have to cool it in a desiccator. After cooling it, you have to take the weight of coal, because initially we have taken coal which is about 1 gram. Then we have to heat it for 100 to 105 degrees centigrade in a hot air oven, and the duration is 1 hour you have to heat. After heating, you have to cool it in a desiccator. After cooling the thing, you have to again weigh the sample. Is it okay? Weigh the sample. So there will be a difference in weight. This we call it as loss in weight. Okay. From this we can calculate what is the moisture content present in coal. Moisture content நான் ஏற்கனவே சொல்லிட்டேன், இட்ஸ் நத்திங் பட் ஈரப்பதம். கோலில் எவ்வளவு ஈரப்பதம் இருக்கோ அதுதான் என்ன சொல்கிறோம், மாய்ஸ்சர் கண்டென்ட். இஸ் இட் ஓகே? ஸோ த பர்சன்டேஜ் ஆஃப் மாய்ஸ்சர் கண்டென்ட் வில் பி ஈக்குவல் டு loss in weight. You have to multiply by 100 the whole divided by weight of coal sample taken. So this is a formula for what to find the percentage of moisture content. I'll repeat. So percentage of moisture content in coal is equal to loss in weight multiplied by 100 the whole divided by weight of coal sample. Okay. So if you take this moisture content, if the moisture content in this coal is found, if it is found to be higher, the quality of coal will be low. So to be a good coal, the moisture content should be very, very low. Is it clear? I'll go with the next one. Next one is volatile matter. So volatile matter, it's nothing but it's a combustible gases. It consists of combustible gases like hydrogen, carbon monoxide, methane and other hydrocarbons. I'll say what do you mean by volatile matter means it's nothing but matter which can be easily vaporized. If we say petrol, diesel and all, we won't open it and keep. உங்கள் எல்லாருக்குமே தெரியும், பெட்ரோல் போட்டோன்னு அந்த டேங்கை நம்ம க்ளோஸ் பண்ணிடுவோம். ஏன்னா வந்து இட் இஸ் செட் டு பி ஹைலி வாலட்டைல். அது திறந்து வச்சோன்னா உடனே அது வேப்பராக வந்து போயிடும். ஸோ எந்த பொருள் வந்து ஈஸியாக வேப்பராக போகுதோ அதுதான் நம்ம என்ன சொல்லுவோம்னா வாலட்டைல் மேட்டர்னு சொல்லுவோம். சரியா? நீங்கள் இஃப் யூ டேக் கோலில் வந்து என்னென்ன கம்பஸ்டபிள் கேஸஸ் அல்லது வாலட்டைல் மேட்டர் இருக்குதுன்னா ஹைட்ரஜன் இருக்குது, கார்பன் மோனாக்சைடு இருக்குது, மீத்தேன் இருக்குது. Other than these three, we have hydrocarbons also. Is it okay? So I'll say, repeat what do you mean by volatile matter? Volatile matter composed of combustible gases like hydrogen, carbon monoxide, methane and other hydrocarbons. Now we are going to see how to determine this volatile matter. Okay, so how we can determine is, you have to take 1 gram of dried coal sample. After removing moisture content, the coal will be dried enough. So you have to take that 1 gram of dried coal sample. You have to take it in a platinum crucible and you have to weigh it accurately. After taking this 1 gram of dried coal sample, you heat the sample in a muffle furnace. You have to heat. There are different types of furnace we have. So the dried coal has to be taken and you have to heat it in a muffle furnace. Okay. So and the temperature you have to maintain in between 925 plus or minus 25 degrees centigrade for 7 minutes you have to maintain. So I'll repeat. You have to take 1 gram of dried coal sample. Then you have to keep it in a muffle furnace and heat to a temperature of about 925 plus or minus 25 for 7 minutes. What do you mean by this 925 plus or minus 25 means either you have to heat to 900 degrees centigrade or you have to heat to 950 degrees centigrade for 7 minutes. That's the meaning there. Is it okay? After heating for 7 minutes, you cool the thing in a desiccator. Then again you weigh the sample. Is it clear? So to find the volatile matter, you take 1 gram of dried coal sample in a platinum crucible. Keep it in a muffle furnace. Then you have to heat to a temperature of about 925 plus or minus 25 for 7 minutes. Then you have to cool the sample and after cooling you have to take the weight of the sample, and from this we can calculate the percentage of volatile matter present in the sample. So how to calculate the thing is, percentage of volatile matter will be equal to loss in weight multiply by 100 the whole divided by weight of dried coal sample. I will repeat once again. So percentage of volatile matter will be equal to loss in weight multiply by 100 divided by weight of dried coal. Okay. So if you take this volatile matter, if lesser the quantity of volatile matter, higher will be the calorific value, because நான் ஏற்கனவே சொன்னேன் calorific value ஹையராக இருக்கணும்னா volatile matter வந்து குறவாக இருக்கணும். ஏன் குறவாக இருக்கணும்னா இதெல்லாம் ஆவியாக போயிடுச்சுன்னா அங்கே எரியறதுக்கு என்ன இருக்காது, கோல் வந்து இருக்காது. ஸோ volatile matter குறவாக இருந்தால் மட்டும்தான் கோல் வந்து எப்படி இருக்கும், நல்ல கோலாக வந்து இருக்க முடியும். இஸ் இட் ஓகே? ஸோ கோல் வித் ஹை volatile matter என்ன பர்பஸ்க்கு யூஸ் ஆகும்னா கோல் கேஸ், ஏன்னா கேஸ் ப்ரொடியூஸ் பண்ணுறது, கோல் கேஸ் ப்ரொடியூஸ் பண்ணுறதுக்கு உனக்கு வாலட்டைல் மேட்டர் நிறைய இருந்தால் நல்லாயிருக்கும். இஸ் இட் ஓகே? தென் ஃபார் ப்ரொடக்ஷன் ஆஃப் கோக், கோக் ப்ரொடக்ஷனுக்கு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா ஒன்லி 20% ஷுட் பி volatile matter. Both we can produce coal gas from coal, also coke from coal. And if you take coal gas, it should have high volatile matter. Coal should have high volatile matter. And if for production of coke, coal should have 20% of volatile matter. Okay. So next one we have to see in what sort of coal, what's the amount of volatile matter. So if you take bituminous coal, the volatile matter is found to be more compared to anthracite coal. In anthracite coal, the volatile matter is very, very low. Is it okay? So next one we can see what is said to be ash content. So we have already seen moisture content, volatile matter, and third one is nothing but ash content. உங்களுக்கு எல்லாருக்குமே தெரியும் ஆஷ்னா என்னது. நம்ம எல்லா பொருளையும் எரிச்சதுக்கு அப்புறம் அங்கே என்ன வரும், கரி வரும். Is it okay? So that we call it as ash. So residue left behind after complete combustion of coal is called as ash content. I'll repeat. Residue left behind after complete combustion of coal, we call it as ash content. Is it okay? So how to determine this ash content is, you take 1 gram of powdered coal, then you heat it in a platinum crucible, the same muffle furnace you keep it. You have to heat it to a temperature of about 800 degree centigrade. I'll repeat. So for determination of ash content, take 1 gram of powdered coal sample, heat it in a muffle furnace, and you have to heat to a temperature of about 800 degree centigrade. When coal is completely burnt, you have to coal will be completely burnt into ash. After formation of ash, you cool the ash and then you have to weigh the ash. You have to take the weight of ash left. Is it okay? From this we can calculate the percentage of ash. So how to calculate the percentage of ash is, percentage of ash is equal to weight of ash left multiply by 100 the whole divided by weight of coal sample taken. I'll repeat. Percentage of ash is equal to ash content into 100 the whole divided by weight of coal sample taken. Is it okay? So next one we can see, if ash is present, it is said to be non combustible. அது நல்ல எரியக்கூடிய கோலை வந்து அதை யூஸ் பண்ண முடியாது, because it lowers the calorific value. So if ash content is found to be low, the coal will have a high calorific value. So next one we can see what is said to be fixed carbon. So previously we have seen what is said to be moisture content, volatile matter, then we have seen ash content, and finally we have to see what is said to be fixed carbon and how to calculate this fixed carbon. So after doing all these processes, after finding this moisture content, volatile matter, and ash content, we have to go with fixed carbon. So coming to fixed carbon, what I mean by fixed carbon is residue left as a result of destructive distillation of coal is called as another fixed carbon. I'll repeat. So after getting ash, the remaining thing, after heating and finding what is the amount of ash, the remaining residue is left. We call it as, it is said to be destructive distillation of coal. That process is said to be destructive distillation of coal. The final product obtained is called as fixed carbon. Okay, so it will contain non-volatile carbon with trace amount of hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen and sulfur. I'll say, so what is the main thing present in fixed carbon is it contains non-volatile carbon. Volatile carbon will be vaporizing, it's going. So it will contain non-volatile carbon with trace amount of hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen and sulfur. So the percentage of fixed carbon is calculated by 100 minus all the 3 percentage you have to add and find. You have to subtract all the 3. That is, you have to add a percentage of volatile matter, moisture content, ash content. Then you have to separate the 3 values from 100. If you are subtracting all the 3 from 100, the remaining we call it as fixed carbon. So greater the fixed carbon content, greater will be the calorific value. Is it okay? It's clear for you? So we can have the summary of the thing what you have seen today. I'll repeat. So first we have seen what is said to be a solid fuel. Initially I said what is fuel. Then I have said what are the classification, how the fuel can be classified based on the origin as well as the physical state. Then we have seen a solid fuel. A good example is coal. Coming to coal, we have seen how this coal is being formed, that is from wood to anthracite conversion, and what is the percentage of moisture content and carbon content, and finally the calorific value. And next, what's the next topic I have explained for you is nothing but analysis of coal. And coming to analysis of coal, there are 2 analysis we have to do the complete analysis. One is said to be proximate analysis, another one is said to be ultimate analysis. And in proximate analysis we have 4 things. First one is said to be moisture content, volatile matter, then ash content, and finally fixed carbon. So only proximate analysis we have seen today. The next class we'll see what is said to be ultimate analysis. So thank you for cooperating, students. Thank you, ma.